Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, college football fans across the nation, heck, football fans across the nation and around the world. This is Tim May with the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hawks. Clay, so good to see you again, my man.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for having me.
Hands across the ocean there, hands across the Great Divide. Clay Hall's been to Pennsylvania since you last saw him.
Oh, yeah.
You can still see that dust on him. Speaking of dust, a guy that no dust is falling on over the last month and a half, 2 months really, but last month and a half, Brian Hartline, the new head coach at the University of South Florida, a program that's been up and coming for a while, and now he's their new head coach, former wide receiver coach and offensive coordinator at Ohio State. He's going to be joining the program, the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall program here in a few minutes.
I think he's landed at an unbelievable spot.
I do too.
In his introductory presser, he said, Florida high school football is the treasure trove.
Yes.
And nobody knows that better than he.
That's kind of like, the gold hunters or whatever on the Discovery Channel.
You love that.
When they get into a big vein, now they got to go out is take off the overburden and dig out the dirt and run it through the mill, and you got gold, man, gold. I remember
there's gold in them, and then there are swamps.
Yeah, and then there are swamps, and sloughs. I remember telling Tom Herman when he was basically in line to get the Houston job. My advice was you'd almost be a fool not to take it, because if you put a little pin in the ground right at the University of Houston campus, and you do like a 200-mile radius with a string, there's 1 million football players. You know what I mean? And then it's not like doing that same thing in Wyoming or something. I mean,
no, that was
there now you got to be where you are, but there are programs that can launch you to different places if you go in and take advantage of the largesse that's surrounding you. And I think you agree with that, right? About South Florida, Tampa.
I think that was brought up in his little after podium interview with the scribes in South Florida, and they said 200 miles, and he looked at the guy and he goes, 100 miles.
100 miles.
That's all I need.
Oh yeah. I mean, look at the football players Ohio State has gotten within a 100-mile radius of Tampa, much less adding 100, make it 150, and you get to Miami and Fort Lauderdale and stuff. Or, I'm talking about as the crow flies, ladies and gentlemen, not as the Florida Turnpike wiggles. But the bottom line is, and you feel good for him. I mean, you and I both known him since he was since he was like 17 years old, 16, and he was recruited by Ohio State and suffered an injury his senior year in high school, and and came along, and you touch on this. We've already done the interview with him a few minutes ago, but you touched on this, about he had that great year at Ohio State, and then followed up by a fall off statistically, but that was going from the Todd Beckman year to the Terrell Pryor year. And Brian basically figured out it was time to move on.
Yep.
And he ended up in the National Football League for 7 or 8 seasons, and was a trustworthy, stalwart wide receiver in the National Football League.
Finished in Cleveland.
Then he got into coaching almost by falling into a pool. I mean, he just showed up at Ohio State.
Well, he turned down Urban once or twice.
Yeah, but he showed up at Ohio State and just hanging out and stuff. And then they made him sort of a low-grade program. And this is before everybody could coach, in the old days.
That's it.
Back in the teens.
Before you could have 50 coaches.
And in 2017, kind of a GA. And then, when Zach Smith, and when Urban had to part ways with Zach Smith at the beginning of 2018, in the summer of 2018, he kind of had a choice of either adding Corey Dennis to the full-time staff, the big-time staff, or Brian Hartline. Corey Dennis was Urban's son-in-law, but he added Brian.
Yeah.
And the rest is history in the making.
It's funny, too, because he was invited, hey, come out, by his brother, Mike, who was on staff.
Right.
Or had a more substantive position role. And he came out and and then I think Herbs was behind the scenes there. Get him out of here. and now he's hired Mike to be his quarterback coach after a nice playing career at Kentucky.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and then it's unreal that Mike has had 11 years in the coaching business.
Yeah,
and I would guess he's a little older. I don't know, but anyway. So yeah, he will. We asked him about being tough on his brother. He has a great answer for that. So stick around.
Yeah, exactly. But he knows. Brian knows as well as anybody. A football coach, a head football coach, is really, you can be the smartest, brainiest, schemingest guy in the world, but if you don't get the people. Yeah. You're messed up. I mean, it's not going to happen. And like he talked about all the people, he talks about this in the interview about all the people he had to hire in the 40s, the mid 40s, just people to hire to work in the program. Then you got to recruit. Then you got to work the transfer portal. And you're 105 or you're 105 pretty much now when it comes to your coming season. There's no other transfer portal coming like there has been this last several years. There's only one transfer portal that was in the first week and a half of January, 2 weeks of January, where you could jump into it. You can still get signed out of it.
Right.
But the bottom line, But the bottom line is he pretty much knows what his football team is going to look like from a personnel standpoint. I was going to make this funny thing. I wonder if I didn't even ask him this, but if requiring everybody to wear name tags, for the first several months so you know who everybody is. But you know what? You could make the same assertion about Ohio State.
Well, are they all going to have to wear green? You know how Urban went through that.
Yeah.
I remember he called me out. I'm carrying the equipment into the Woody one afternoon. He go, what's your problem? What's your problem? And I put the camera down, took my coat off, and I had this red thing on. I go, what?
Yeah.
He's loved to mix it up a little bit. But
did you tell him that was your working man's jacket?
Yeah. Can you imagine, Brian, the first 3 weeks he's going, all right, we got that offensive assistant. I've heard all right. It's like you said.
Yeah.
45.
Yeah, but see, the thing about hiring football personnel, it's not like
it's out of the blue.
Yeah, no, but you've got to, you're competing just like you're competing in recruiting with a lot of these guys. And he talks about that a little bit too. It's not like I want you and that guy goes, okay, you know what I mean? Now, some of them probably did. The vast majority probably did do that. But the point is, it's so competitive now in terms of support personnel as it is in the recruiting ranks. Because everybody's trying to poach a guy who's your best video guy, your best highlight maker, your best social media dude, the guy that puts it out there and makes you, there's so much competition going on for guys who are doing a great job. And so, to jump from that, and we talked about that week of chaos, for one of another term, at least for him, it had to be after the victory over Michigan. And then suddenly on signing day, the next day, on Wednesday of the next week, boom, he gets the USF job, and Chris Henry Jr. suddenly, the plum of the Ohio State recruiting class, balks at signing on signing day. He's out of California, and he's going, what the hell's going on over there? Yeah. And Brian discusses that. It's pretty good part of the interview. I really enjoyed it, but I've always liked Brian anyway, so I gotta be true in advertising here. And the thing I've always liked about him is he would challenge you in interviews. You ask a dumb question, or at least in his mind, a question that's not well-founded. And that, when you ask a million questions like I do, like you do, some of them aren't well-founded, or you can't be, but the point is he still have a conversation with you, and that's what I always liked about him. He was pretty much a straight shooter. Urban, same way, man. The old line about Urban Meyer, and Ryan's the same way. Don't ask Urban a question you don't want to hear his answer to. That's always been my same thing with Brian Hartline. But
some are tougher on you. Like you have said on occasion, they don't suffer fools. So you you better know what
right.
The context and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I won't name the player, but I had a discussion one time. Why can't you just put him out there on plays he's good at? Forget about him having to know everything. Just put him out there on plays he basically told you how the cow eats the cabbage on those kind of things. You know what I mean? It was pretty cool. That guy's still on the
Urban.
No, this is Brian Hartline. Urban, man. Urban. You know, I'll tell you what. My interaction with Urban Meyer, I rarely had a what do I want to call it? A unsettling moment with him, exchange with him, except for a couple of times.
Okay.
And you know, and he came here with this reputation of, you know, because of one video, really, but about being hard to deal with.
Bite your head off kind of guy.
Yeah. Or, you know, undress you in front of everybody. And anybody, you think back to the press conference with Urban Meyer, you know, how many times did he ever lecture us like Nick Saban used to lecture the media at Alabama? No, never. If there was a lecture involved,
wouldn't even fill up this hand.
No, if there was a lecture involved, it was about something to do with college football down the road, you know, about the basically the Big Ten needing to get its act together. And boy, if you know, I've talked about that before. Boy, has the Big Ten gotten its act together, you know, in terms of recruiting and football and stuff. And now it's the premier conference in major college football. And you can say, well, it's top heavy. So is the Southeastern Conference.
No, but you're right. He started pushing.
Yeah.
He started telling them, why aren't you down here looking at this kid?
Not that he's helping them, but his point was,
I don't get it.
Yeah. But his point was, his point was more of, we're going to do it this way. Mm-hmm. You guys do it whatever way you've been doing it if you want to, but we're going to do it this way. Like, you know, a commitment is a commitment. There's a big difference between a commitment and a signing. And as long as a guy hadn't signed, he's still
fair game.
He's still recruitable is the best way of putting it. And so that opened a lot of people's eyes, and in the Big Ten especially. But I think Urban's value to what he meant to the Big Ten and where it is now is incalculable. You know, especially when you see Northwestern about to open a brand new stadium this coming year, and now they were able to get Chip Kelly, who was a ship passing ship on the open seas after getting fired abruptly by Las Vegas Raiders this year, a year after being the offensive coordinator for Ohio State, winning its national championship in 2024. I mean, but they've made the place much more attractive than it used to be.
No doubt.
I'm talking about even Northwestern. And really, they did pretty well with limited resources, or whatever you want to call it.
For a long time.
Maybe limited interest in major college football, right?
What was it, Gary Barnett? I mean.
Yeah, he's a guy that
was 30.
Flipped it.
Yeah.
Because, man, it stunk when I first started covering Ohio State football in 1984. Indiana and Northwestern stunk.
Yeah.
Northwestern is the opposite of stunk now. Has had 10 showers with a dial soap and everything else. So the opposite.
Well, Urban had him had a little exchange with Signetti. You know, how you got what's this, that. And then he said, where's that trophy right now? And he said, well, it's about 5 feet away.
Yeah.
And he said, I may have to get rid of it because then I'm getting soft.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You got to move on.
Yeah. But what an incredible job. We talk about that with Brian too, about, you know, wow. If the losingest program in major college football history, which was Indiana until the last 2 seasons, can do this, why can't anybody? You know, it's all about getting your act together in terms of your program, showing a commitment to it. South Florida's building, you know, brand new football facility and stuff. They're building a stadium, on-campus stadium, which they've never really had.
And both open in 27.
Correct.
So they'll be in Raymond James this fall, and then
right. But my point is, they're making the commitment,
no doubt,
to major college in a big way. They've always been. Anybody paying attention to South Florida, I got to do is Google them. They've been pretty good off and on, man.
Yeah.
For the last 3 decades.
Well, his AD, Brian told me before we started, was the head of the sports commission in Tampa, was responsible for so many things in that town, bringing the NHL outdoor game to Raymond James and so on and so forth. And so this dude was into acquisitions and making things happen. Rob Higgins is his name. And again, he said, we beat out the Blue Bloods for Brian Hartline. that tells you we're serious.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the blue bloods, interesting.
Yeah.
Even in England, they started to decline. If you remember, if you know the blue bloods.
Yeah.
So everything runs in cycles. What are you in 2026? That's the main question. But you know what, Ohio State, dude, the second signing day was Wednesday.
I mean,
there wasn't even a press conference.
Well,
I mean, it was like, dude, I remember I used to.
That was the day.
I used to spend Monday making sure I had all my bios in order, and then Tuesday rewriting some of them and get them into the dispatch. So his guys, it was announced guys had signed and it was official. You could put them up on the web, you know,
right.
The interweb, as the old saying goes. And it was like for like 48 hours, I probably slept like 3 hours, just making sure we had everything in order and stuff. And I think I slept in till like, cause I had a long weekend. I think I slept in till like 8:30 on Wednesday of this week. I don't know when you slept in too, cause you're much more of a go-getter. But the point is, Ohio State's hay has been in the barn pretty much from a recruiting standpoint since last December. We talked about that, about the Chris Henry conundrum on signing day after it was announced Brian Hartline was going to be the new head coach of South Florida. But it's been in, you know, they had 29, I think, signed players to the 2026 class, even though most of them are even on campus right now working out in the offseason program run by Mick Marotti. And
plus the other
in the transfer portal. Yeah, they lost a lot of guys to the portal, but you know, you got to remember most of the people that Ohio State loses, it's a mutual decision. If that's the best way of putting it.
You've had
or an eye-opening, you know, I've been here for 2, maybe 3 years and it's not happening for me here. Right. And then you have the guys that are getting lured now because they are on the upswing and another program can use you and maybe pay you a little bit more out of the revenue sharing and maybe NIL portal. And so guys got into it, and Ohio State lost 3 or 4 guys to the portal that I think they will miss.
I do. Yeah.
But the most of them are being, my point I'm getting to here is they're going to be like what, 44, 45
added 17
players.
Yeah.
No, total players, you know, when you take in the signing class
plus
and the portal, 45, 46 new players that weren't here in August of 2025. That's hellacious turnover, but it's not even close to being the most in the nation, not by a long shot.
And yet it's half a team almost. So
correct. Yeah. You're allowed to have 105.
A
max of 105 now, and the revenue sharing aspect of it adds to the drama. But Ohio State, you know, ended up with a, you know, in my opinion, a really good class because they held on to Chris Henry. Not the least of reason being that I do believe Brian Hartline soothed his worries about what was going on.
He explains that.
Yeah, and he explains all that and stuff. But what a class! And I you know, when you look at it, it's ranked number, you know, by I think 24/7 has this class ranked number 4 in the country, if I have that correct.
Yeah, it's anywhere between 3 and 6.
Yeah, in the top, you know, probably the top 2 players are Chris Henry Jr. and Sincere Johnson.
Yeah,
Sincere Johnson, linebacker from Cleveland Glenville, and Sam Greer, offensive lineman from Akron Hoban. Archbishop Hoban, and but it's a hell of a class. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, Jerquaden Guilford. I mean, you know, you take Chris Henry Jr. out, and Jerquaden Guilford's a hell of a pickup. You know what I mean? So, but the bottom line is, I mean, they were the 4th overall. But let's go back to what this all means. In the 24/7 rankings, 3 of the top 4 are Big Ten teams. Southern California, slowly but surely, has gotten its act together.
Yeah.
They've got 35, 36 new signees, much less who they've gotten in the transfer portal. Talk about revamping your roster. Number 2 in our list is Oregon with 24 commits, or 24 signees. And then number 3 is Alabama, which needed a bounce back.
That's right.
And really got the bounce back in December before signing day in December, before they ended up losing dramatically to Indiana.
Oof.
The Battle of the Crimsons.
Oh my!
And Indiana beat the snot out of Alabama, and you can Google it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Ohio State at number 4.
Yep.
Ohio State had some comings and goings in its class, but held on to what it really needed to hang on to. And now you got, but that just shows you the competition just ramps up in college football, because as we talk about with Brian Hartline, was brought up a minute ago, it's not who you are, it's who you recruit. It's who you hire. That's what makes a successful head coach. Is my famous line, which I even used with him in the interview. I said, I would love to have been Jesse Owens' track coach. Not knocking, what was his name, Snyder, who got the job done. But if Jesse Owens had gone to,
Middle Tennessee State.
Hofstra would have had a hell of a track team for 3 or 4 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
That is what it is. Real quick, you're not going to be here for my Friday show. I'm going to have my good buddy. That's his name. Good buddy. My good buddy, Jeff Snook. But I wanted to get your Super Bowl pick real quick. And by the way, what a connection talking to Brian Hartline, knowing Jackson Smith and Jigba is the leading receiver in the National Football League this year and is playing in his first Super Bowl for Seattle.
I'm going to go Seahawks. Nothing against Vrabel. I just think that quarterback has proven his worth, and Minnesota and many others will. I mean, Sam Darnold has been when you outgun the LA Rams quarterback, Mr. Stafford, I think you've proven it. You got the best receiver. I think the Patriots were fortunate that Denver didn't kick a field goal early in that game to go up 10-0. That's on Sean Payton. I like the Seahawks, and you need a score.
No, I don't need necessarily a score. I just like
I don't even know the line. What is the line?
I think the line was 4.5 at one point. Yeah, okay. Seattle. I don't know what it is as we speak, but I will by the end of the week.
Giving 4. Okay.
Whatever you call it. Let's call them a 4.5 point favorite. 4.5. So you like Seattle?
Yeah.
I'm
sticking with it.
In my conversation with Jeff Snook later, I'll get into why I like New England.
Do you?
But on the record, I like New England for several reasons. And, I think Sam Darnold's almost Indiana of pro football on an individual basis.
Yeah.
Based on where he was and where he is now.
He has risen from the ashes.
Yeah, not that he came into the National Football League as a pauper, first-round draft pick of the New York Jets way back when, but where was a forgotten soul.
He was.
And I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember interviewing him before Ohio State played them in the Cotton Bowl after the 2017 season.
Right.
They played in it. I guess it ended up being, I don't remember if that was before or after January 1, but it was the Cotton Bowl after the 2017 season. And just what a great guy he seemed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to put it. He would look at your name tag, because you all got all these big credentials, and call you by your first name. You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of guys just want to get through the interviews.
That's a step above.
And other guys engage. And I think there's a point in the interview where he says, well, as I told Tim here a minute ago.
Wow.
It was basically, but we were all asking him about the idea he was going to go to the NFL after that season, after he was going to announce his intentions, because everybody expected him to go and everybody expected him to be one of the first players taken because he had the goods, man.
Yeah.
Remember, Ohio State beat the hell out of him, but he still stood in there and was throwing strikes at the end of the game. I mean, he wouldn't stay down. It's kind of, like I've told people, it reminds me of Joe Burrow in that spring game where he was the only quarterback that wasn't wearing a "Don't hit me" shirt, and guys were hitting the hell out of him, and he still stood in there and threw strikes. That's when I knew Joe Burrow had something special. Whether it would end up the way it ended up, who knows?
There's a moment in Rudy when the Notre Dame hulking
Just
offensive
stay down.
Stay down.
Yeah.
Tells Rudy, stay down.
I'm trying to make you better.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, Joe Burrow and
You're going to get killed.
Sam Darnold is trying to make them, they're trying to win the game. They want to win the damn game. So good for Sam Darnold. I would love to see him and Jackson Smith and Jake. It's great watching the game where you don't really have a rooting interest. My closest thing to a rooting interest is my in-laws are all from the Boston, Connecticut area. And my brother-in-law, Tommy Kalashevsky, that's my wife's maiden name. She went from Kalashevsky to May. No matter what else has happened in our 43-year marriage, I did her a favor there. Right? From Susie K to Susie May.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, devout Patriots fan until a couple of 3 years ago. Everybody, better whether you admit it or not, 90% of your fans are front runners.
Of course.
Look at
of course.
Indiana couldn't fill. There were times when Indiana couldn't fill its own basketball arena with football fans.
They couldn't fill historic Crew Stadium.
And now it's the Indiana Memorial Stadium. The cup overfloweth, and their season ticket sales are going to be through the roof this year, and their facilities are getting major upgrades. It's not just John Cougar Mellencamp. It's other people, Mark Cuban, right on down the line, who have bought in. And I mean, bought in that sense of the word.
Yes.
I've always said in every school you call a basketball school, there is a football school waiting to emerge. If only it can happen. Don't you agree with that? Didn't we just see it? No, you haven't seen it on this level. We saw it.
No.
If Kentucky ever did this in football,
right?
If Duke ever did this in football, I mean, I remember back in the day when Alabama's head coach, I wasn't alive then, but history tells me, Alabama's head coach went from Alabama to Duke. I think it was Wallace Wade.
Wallace Wade, I think that's
And
right.
I'm going, when you look back in history, he did what?
What?
Because you want to equate things yesterday to today, and this should never be confused and stuff. And Mac Brown went from North Carolina to Texas and won a national championship. So yes, I truly believe in every quote basketball school there's a football school just waiting to emerge.
Darrell Royal went from Mississippi State to Texas.
Well, yeah, he did. And and that's what's funny about that is he played football for Bud Wilkinson. I think he played for Bud Wilkinson at Oklahoma. And he goes from becomes a head coach at Mississippi State and then goes to Texas, Oklahoma's sworn rival. So anyway, I don't know how we got off onto that. Let's get to our interview.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to our interview with Brian Hartline. Totally enjoyed it. And and I hope you folks enjoy the Super Bowl, because we'll just end it with the way we end it with Brian Hartline, because he was generous to give us 45 minutes of a day. The first day he's actually gotten to sit back and relax for like an hour.
Yeah. And I don't think he's done a lot with Ohio folks. So let's
without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here's our conversation with Brian Hartline.
Sports fans, it's time to gear up. Head to fanstreamsports.com and check out our brand new merchandise store. We're talking bold t-shirts, 3/4 zips, hoodies, hats, mugs, and more. Everything you need to rep your favorite shows and your favorite crew. Whether you're rolling with the J.P. Peterson Show in Tampa Bay, From the Rough in Dallas, the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall, or the Jeff Thidoff Show in Ohio, or any of our FanStream Sports original programming, we've got the perfect look for game day and every day. So don't wait. fanstreamsports.com. Click merch and grab your gear now. Wear the stream, live the stream, fanstreamsports.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStreams.
I've been wanting to have this guy on my podcast back when I was with another association many years ago. And just when we were ready to go, it got nixed, by higher authorities. But it is what it is. Now he is a higher authority. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Hartline, welcome finally to the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall, my man.
Yeah, I'm just so excited to be on your show, Tim. If it wasn't, it's just Tim. I mean, The Tim May. Just want to make sure we're on the same page here.
Yeah, there you go. I hear you, man. I like that smirk. Hey,
Yeah.
man, congratulations. Number one, I haven't gotten to say that to you publicly, but congratulations, because I think anybody who's worth their salt aspires to be large and in charge at some point in their life. And I think the sooner it comes for you, you know what I mean? The better off you are. And I don't know if you consider this soon or not, because you had a whole other career before you became a coach.
Yeah.
And now in was it 17 or 16 when you started hanging around Ohio State with Urban Meyer?
17 was the first year, yes.
Yeah. And now all of a sudden in 9 years, you're a head coach of a credible big time program, in my opinion, the Bulls, the South Florida Bulls. But I asked John Cooper this question when he got the head coaching job at Ohio State back in 1988. I said, did you ever take a moment? Now, he had been at Tulsa and Arizona State and, things like that. But did you ever take a moment all by yourself when you're sitting in that office and you just kind of whirl around in your swivel chair and go, man, look where I am? You know what I mean? Have you had that moment in Tampa yet?
No, I mean, I think that I try to be as aware as possible as I can on where I'm at and self-evaluating myself. I mean, I know I'm blessed. I know that. I'm not, but I think I'm to the point now where, like, I'm so tired of the congratulations. Like, I don't even know what we're congratulating. Like, don't get me wrong. I am very blessed to be here. I love being here at USF. I mean, what we are about to accomplish, what we're embarking on is second to none. And that's ultimately why, me and my family chose to come here. But we haven't done anything yet. And I don't like getting congratulations on opportunities. I like getting congratulations on job well done, right? Yeah. So we have a lot of, ground to make up. We have some high aspirations, rightfully so. But that's kind of where it's at. And frankly, between building staff, acquiring, building the team from through the portal, getting on the road with high school relationship building, getting to see some of the guys, and now being back off the field and starting some mat drills, and now, grinding and growing the team, both as individuals to eventually add to the collective. That's where we're at right now. And it's been great. Don't get me wrong, but to say I've had a deep breath, I would not say that per se.
Gotcha. And the reason, the only reason I'm offering congratulations is there are moments in a person's career, just like when when Ryan named you offense coordinator 3 years ago and stuff. There are moments that show that other people, you know what I mean, are recognizing what you're all about. I mean, back in 18, when you suddenly got named the wide receivers coach, well, you were already doing stuff with receivers and, you'd already put your mark on the program and stuff, but there are these accomplishments. Yeah. I mean, really, in your mind, you're probably starting over, not ground zero, but not far from it, right? Because
I would agree.
So much to do. I mean,
so much to do. And I agree with you. You're right. I mean, you are right. I mean, the opportunity to continue to grow and enhance and touch and be, involved with more guys is awesome. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, I had the same pinch. Wow, I can't believe I'm the receiver coach at Ohio State. Wow, I can't believe I'm the coordinator. I get it. And so I've had that, comment to my wife for sure. Wow, I mean, we're the head coach at USF. This is amazing. So but that's about as long as it lasts, and then you gotta go. So
I was gonna say what's that movie The Martian with Matt Damon where he's sending messages back and forth, and he can only do it by typing, and he says something derogatory, and the guy goes, "Do you think he meant, I'm gonna clean it up? Damn, are you kidding me?" Or "Damn, are you kidding me?" You know what I mean? It's kind of like that, right? Real quick, what is the first thing though? We didn't get to really talk to you a lot when this happened, when this came down and stuff. But what for a first time head coach? I remember talking to Darrell Hazel about this. Before he left Ohio State, he had like a list of guys he'd be calling if he ever got a head coaching job. To add to his staff, if you follow what I'm saying there and stuff. But that first order of business, when you got that out of the way, what did it tell you? You were kind of on your way. Was it hiring an offensive coordinator? Was it hiring a strength coach or keeping what I mean? What was that piece of business that kind of hit you upside the head? Yes, now I am large and in charge, so to speak.
Well, not large and in charge, but first order of business. I think that I took the approach that I guess I'm kind of the CEO now, right, of everything. And so I wanted to identify and reflect on whatever I think my loopholes are, where are my blind spots, which experts do I have to bring in to ensure that those areas are covered. Because frankly, I'm going to be very involved in things that I'm really good at. I got to make sure I'm still trying to be really good at, still surround myself with other guys I can teach, and then they can, fully take over those kind of things. But I'm still going to provide value from a schematic thought process. But I guess thinking back, strength coach was 1A, 1B. I mean, that was a definite. And then I would say probably trying to identify defensively, which way I wanted to go and to empower the defensive coordinator to obviously who does he want to hire, and I'm obviously very involved with that, but I was trying to empower him. I think that that was really important. I think that's the healthiest way to do it sometimes, at least for year one. So that was 1A, 1B. And for us to be able to have Antonio Turner come over AT from Ohio State and essentially help myself and us build our culture, our day in and day out culture, was a huge, huge add for our program. And by far the best guy for the job. He's killing it right now. The guys are loving him. He's pushing the heck out of him. People are throwing up all the time. It's like, all right, we're on the right path. We're on the right path. And Josh Aldridge coming over from ECU, was the top coordinator in the conference last year, dealt with the academies and has a good plan with, when it comes to playing them. And then through the Zooms, felt really good about it. And now I'm even, more impressed. I think his organization, his standards, the way he communicates is all top notch. And I'm excited for the start that we've had.
Brian, your athletic director, Rob Higgins, talked about we got our dream candidate. After we hired Brian Hartline, we had 38 million impressions in social media, et cetera, et cetera. He said we beat out a lot of blue bloods for Brian Hartline, and everybody knows where we're going now. And it seems you've landed on a spot that's new $349 million stadium going straight up outside your window, a new performance center. And as you put it, as I watched your introductory press conference, and this says a lot about where you've been. It's not about 8-4. It's not about 9-3. You kind of put some pressure on you there. It's 10-2 or 12-0. That's the neighborhood we want to be in. And now you get to live up to that, right?
Well, a lot of work to do, but I think that, I was born and bred, in one of the blue bloods as far as playing and coaching. And I'm not going to be shy about that. I went to one of the best universities in the world. And so a lot of what we did and accomplished and the people I was around and the Ryan Days and Urban Meyers and Jim Trussell's and even time down in Miami, the coaches that made the biggest impressions on me, I just felt like, and I know that there is no better platform than here in Tampa at USF to replicate what we've done at other places. Like I believe in the ability of the players. I believe in the talent level in the state of Florida and neighboring states. I think that what has been accomplished in other places can be accomplished here. And really, and I'm a big consistency guy, man. I'm all about being consistent. I think that's ultimately what defines you. And I think that, and I know that this is a place that can be very consistent because there's a lot of consistency around it. The type of players that are in high school now with the portal, frankly, feel free to come home, guys. Like, this is a great spot for you. So, it only caters to the current environment of college football. And Rob Higgins and his whole team, Derek Brooks. I mean, these guys are one's a true Hall of Famer, and Rob's one in the making. And so these guys have resourced USF with the top of the line resources in an era where we are now looking to compensate players. We're also still building stadiums and brand new facilities that they went out, frankly, and checked out, Texas and Georgia and the Dallas Cowboys just to model this facility after that. So it's going to be a top of the line facility. It's going to be awesome to finally have games on Saturday here on campus. And, frankly, I think that as much as Ohio has always been my home, Florida has always been my home away from home, to be frank. And my family always viewed it that way. And it all kind of lined up, the more and more we dived into the conversations, it really was very apparent this is the perfect landing spot for us to make a move.
One question going back to your playing career at Ohio State, as I looked at, I think you had 52 catches as a sophomore, just 21 as a junior, and maybe you were hurt. I don't have the memory that Tim May has, but I wanted the swag and the confidence to say, I'm ready, get drafted, go play 7 years in the league. I think you have a little bit of Vrabel in you. I'm going to call you Vrabel 2.0. Where did all of that?
That's a hell of a statement there now. Hold on.
I know
NFL
that.
Coach of the Year. So,
but it's the same makeup I see in you. So after 21 catches as a junior, what said to you, I'm ready?
I think that, I can't pinpoint it. I think I got the approval of the right people around me, got the approval from Darryl Hazel. I know, I think I was kind of my own self-coach a little bit at times, and I was very, very hard on myself as from a self-analysis standpoint. I just felt like I was ready mentally and physically to tackle the NFL. I felt like there's definitely a lot of other things that were involved that I'm not going to dive into, but as far as me being ready for playing, that was a big part of it. Obviously, the year before with Todd Beckman and the year that we had was awesome. Todd threw the ball really well. And so it was a lot of fun that year, which was 52, I believe you said.
Yeah.
And then the next year.
Must have been a new QB. Could have been TP.
Wait a minute. I like the grin on your face there, Brian. Go ahead now.
Yeah, and so no, it was just felt like it was the right time. And frankly, like you're saying, there's a little bit of reminiscence on that. There's kind of a gut call at some point. And people always told me, once you make the decision, there was no decision. This is the decision. So don't do the what ifs. Don't do the what it could be. You go do a good job. You put your feet you put your mind where your feet are, and you go make it work. And so that was the mentality then, and I know it's gonna be the mentality.
And Brian, speaking of that, what's your pitch now with South Florida? Because you had to flip the switch immediately. What is it's like Kurt Signetti said before the playoffs started. There's a chance they could play James Madison. You know what I mean? If James Madison had beaten, or he goes, "Hey, I'm not at James Madison anymore." I've been gone now what is your pitch now? I always when guys change, not just change colors, but change schools. It's like you have to dive in 100%. Yes, you're going to lean on what happened with you at Ohio State as a player and as a coach, but now it's a totally different situation. I mean, you're recruiting for South Florida. You're trying to make South Florida a player. South Florida's already a player. You're trying to make them a big-time player, if you follow my drift.
Again, you guys asked me about the pitch in Ohio State. There is no pitch. I mean, my job, my thought process was clearly, communicate who we are and how we operate, where we currently are, maybe where we've been based on the history, if that's part of the conversation, the history, where you currently are, and then frankly, where you want to go. Yeah. And you want to be a part of that or not. We're not in the business of talking guys into coming, whether to Ohio State or coming to USF. That's not the plan. The plan is being very clear on who you are, what we stand for, where we want to go, and making sure they pick you. From a check the box world, there's a lot of these different variables that are involved in recruiting. We want to make sure we check the box on the majority of them, just like them as players and evals. They want to be fast enough, big enough, strong enough, whatever that is, those metrics, they have to check the box. But ultimately, it comes down to how they're wired and how they think from a personality standpoint. For them, it should be kind of the same. I mean, once you kind of check certain boxes, it should be about ball. Okay, what system are you going to run? How are you going to develop me? Pull my film from high school, coach me up on my film. Still just be the person that you should be as a coach. They want to come play for you, and they see the vision, they see where things are going, or they don't. Now, obviously, you want to do a good job in the first couple of years so you can just kind of lean back on the current path. Yeah. Right? Yes. But without a current path, it makes it a little more difficult. I mean, you see the steel, the buildings are coming. I can talk about the Ohio State offense and what we're bringing here, but after fall, that's by the wayside. And we're going to talk about what we did this past year and where we're going to go moving forward. So all of those things, again, the 30,000-foot view, Tim, it's not about talking guys into coming to where you're at. It's about them choosing you for the right reasons.
Yeah, no, you literally gave me the same lecture 6 or 7 years ago. You know what I mean? It was like, like you said, it's about building relationships right on down the line. It's not about selling somebody a timeshare in
The
Florida.
relationships
right?
are good, but it's also like, showing competence.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I can be your best friend all you want. And some of these guys in college football are like, oh, we're just such good buddies. Like that doesn't help me become a better football player. Like,
Yes.
I'm not going to be your buddy, JJ. And JJ knew that. Like, I'm going to look out for him, but like, I'm going to make you a better football player. And that's all I'm giving you. So it just depends on what the guys are wanting. If they want buddies, then they can go have a tea party. If they want football, then they know where to find us.
Yeah. Hey, I haven't got to ask you this question since it happened because for whatever reasons, I didn't get to run into you like I wanted to. You know how you kind of like bump in the night. Oh, hey, what are you doing here? Did you consider when this job came down, did you consider, as you look back on it now, did you consider it as y'all got ready for Indiana? Did you consider it in the final analysis looking back? Did you find it to be a distraction to what y'all's goal was that week, if you understand my drift about winning a Big Ten championship? Or did you can't do anything about timing, right? All you can do is do what
you can't do anything about timing. I would say in retrospect, yes, it was a difficult spot.
Yeah.
And I think why did it happen then? I mean, the biggest part was, and frankly was on my mind, was signing day.
Yes.
These guys were literally trying to like pick their schools. And if I knew what was going on, I felt sick not communicating that to the guys that are going to Ohio State prior to that. That's just the frank. Whether they would change their mind or not doesn't matter. It just felt ungenuine. So that was really the pushing point. I think that the announcement and all that was a crazy time. I felt like it was a crazy 48 hours. I felt pretty damn good, by the end of the week, frankly, over on that. Obviously we did not come out a victory, in that world. Yeah. But it was a lot that week. I would say after that week, though, no problem.
Yeah, gotcha.
Moving forward. And so, but yeah, I think in hindsight, that was just the hardest part of balancing that. You have liked to be able to get through that week and then be able to, make your decision, frankly, or make it public. But the calendar did not allow that because for whatever reason, we feel like signing day has to be then. I don't understand what that is, but I'm not, I don't understand the full calendar that way.
Yeah. Well, it's like Ryan. I mean, what in your mind right now, you kind of know what your roster is for this coming season, for the most part, right? There's no transfer portal in May. Do you, in that sense, as a first time head coach, do you feel a little bit blessed that there's not going to be this chaos at the end of April, like there has been the last many years for programs? I mean, what is your take on the calendar? Because that's what I was getting to with you about having to make up your mind right then. Am I going to be the head coach at USF or not? Because they wanted somebody's name out there on signing day that this is our future, right?
Sure.
But what is your take on the calendar right now? Now running, basically driving the stagecoach. I'm trying to think of all these analogies.
Yeah, it's really good, Tim. Nice job with your analogies. I would say that
6 horses in front, by the way.
I can't comment on it enough. Like I'm not an expert like the other guys are. Yeah. I don't feel like I can be an expert until I've lived it, breathed it a little bit. So I'm going to be hesitant to kind of make any comments on that. I think that though the one I experienced this past year, I can kind of comment on why that has to be the signing period. Then I don't know. Is there a better way? I don't know. I know the academic schedule ultimately is what dictates a lot of this because guys want to get to school and guys are signing and guys need enough time to applications. I don't know, but applications get done earlier. I don't know how to figure that out. As far as the portal goes, I would say one window is definitely enough. I would say that, there's something to be said. Again, academic schedule, though. You'd like for the portal to be fully open and done and operating when football is done.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel bad for some of the guys that were still playing and they're looking for other opportunities. And now you're asking them to announce they're going to be in the portal before they're even out. Because if not, when you go to the 105, RO 105 is full.
Yeah.
You cannot sit around and wait for guys that you think are going in the portal. Oh, hint, hint, hint. That because ultimately, you're going to have a 105, and once that portal closes, like it is what it is.
Yeah.
So you can't necessarily, again, rev share and saving money potentially for an acquisition of a player. You don't have any potentially at that point. So it's just not fully efficient enough, in my opinion. I don't have an answer for you because of the academic schedule being what it is.
Yeah.
But as of so far, those are the only critiques I've noticed so far.
Yeah, that's the thing. But people forget that it's not like the NFL. These guys are supposed to go to school too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like this weird little thing. Hey, by the way, when Ohio State played, I think both years they played South Carolina in the Outback Bowl back-to-back years. And what was that? 2000 and 2001 in the Outback Bowl, the seasons. I know the second year they practiced at USF, and USF had gotten a gift of a practice field from the National Football League because I think Tampa had either had hosted the Super Bowl the year before, and they put in this brand new, practice field for you guys and stuff. And like you're talking about, I mean, here's the thing I've always said, because I know a guy that used to run University of Central Florida, and these are huge enrollments. I mean, you're talking about a 55,000 enrollment university here. We're not talking about Tulane. You understand what I'm saying? And
frankly, in our history, right? The school's only been here for 70 years.
Yeah.
We just had our anniversary. It is 50,000 undergrad. Football wise, 35 years, really been around. It's a young program.
Right.
Got our indoor 5 years ago, which is beautiful here. And there's just a lot of momentum both on campus, like you're saying, and in the sports realm. We added women's lacrosse this year. So some universities are cutting sports. We're adding sports. We added beach volleyball. That's coming. Wow. We added women's lacrosse. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's got a lot of great momentum.
Yeah. But by the way, I asked Ryan Day Gene Smith and the then president of the Ohio State, whoever it was back then, when they added UCLA and USC, if they were getting a beach volleyball program, and they laughed. They said, "Yeah, Tim, you could be the donor." But what I'm getting to here is you do feel a momentum there, as the old saying is, "Be where your feet are." Right? You do. There is a sense of a momentum there that's serious. That they're serious about football. If you follow my drift, I mean, they always have been. But yeah. I mean, so did that help you in making up your mind about this one?
Oh, huge. I mean, the alignment there, got a lot of great advice from, Coach Day and Coach Meyer, and just understanding that, frankly, resources and expectations should be aligned. And so, if you don't have a lot of great resources, you just lower your expectations or do the other, get more resources, and then you can raise your expectations. But to have one without the other is kind of a little silly. So, we are definitely well-resourced here. We have definitely a lot of great support. And frankly, those around me have high aspirations. And, when there's an opportunity for realignment, definitely want to be in that conversation, and we definitely want to make that happen. So, and again, that's not me. I'm kind of where my feet are. We're going to go chase conference championships. But people around us and in our sports world of our sports family, we'd like to really keep pushing this thing and see where this thing can go.
Oh, yeah.
Brian, you climbed the ladder, position coach, coordinator. Now you're the head man. Do you leave play calling behind you now and want to work on this new challenge of being the guy who can see it all? Or is there still part of you that will be obviously on the headset and vetoing this play call and that one?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely different worlds, right? There's the no, you're not really involved, you're just listening world. There is the heavily involved veto calls and suggest calls, all of that world. And then there's, just calling the plays. So, right now I can't say I've made a firm decision on that. I think that what I will say is that when I saw Coach Day step away and be more managerial, when he was, more in that listening and advising role, the team really excelled, and that's when we won our championships. So, for me, I think that's I can't unsee that. I think that's really important. I think Coach Meyer was obviously that same way. I don't remember the last time. I'm not saying that a play calling head coach has won a national championship. Actually, I think I do know. I think it was Jimbo Fisher in the early 2000s, and no one's done it since. So. If you really want to maximize what you're capable of, that's really the makeup. Now, that being said, being a play caller can provide a lot of stability. Now, but that we're not maybe always in the world of being 10-2. There's probably a place for that, but to be the best version of yourself, I mean, you probably got to be more managerial based on what I've seen. So
Yeah.
And I'm talking college, not necessarily the NFL. NFL is definitely a different game. So haven't made a decision on that yet. I appreciate that question, but I'm heavily involved, obviously, with the offense from a day in, day out standpoint.
Here's a Tim May quickie. How excited are you to face Eddie George this year at Bowling Green?
I'm really excited. I mean, I'm getting back into Ohio. My people I get to come visit. It's kind of surreal, to be honest. It's talking about like those moments. That could be a pretty darn cool one.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that it's early in the year because I'm now that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, last thing. I know you got you're a head coach now. You have all kinds of like.
Well, I blocked this off just for you guys.
Appreciate it, man.
NBA show?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Hey, dude, like I said a while ago, you're now the head coach of South Florida. You got to leave behind. But how would you describe the relationships you've had with those guys that have come through your wide receiver room at Ohio State? And we're going to get to watch one on Sunday, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Man, you just think, what if he'd been on the field against Georgia? You know what I mean? Right on down. And then you got, Jeremiah Smith and all these other guys and stuff. It's like, do you feel blessed that you've been in, that you've had relationships with these kind of guys? And, I mean, I just wanted to get your take on that, of like, real quick, I've always said I would like to have been Jesse Owens' track coach. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, let's not, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, the blessing that they're willing to choose us and me
and you,
that run. I mean, that was awesome. And so, to say like, again, I think we're in it right now, right? Kind of like Indiana, right? I mean, like what they were able to accomplish, I think might be like the best sports history or sports story of all time.
Of all time.
I mean, let's be honest. Like maybe it becomes more normal. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, from being able to get hooked in with Terry McLaurin and Paris Campbell and Johnny Dixon and seeing those guys, whether they're still playing or Johnny's down coaching in Arizona, Paris stopping, he's with the Cowboys. I mean, those relationships, the promises I made to them off the jump for their last 2 years was very special. And then to, get to a spot with, Garrett, and I was a young coach. So Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave first, obviously, and Garrett Wilson, and then Jameson Williams, and then, Jackson Smith and Jigba and Marvin Harrison and Mecca Ibuka and Carnell Tate. And so I think again, I'm just listening to some of those guys. I mean, Austin Mack was an awesome relationship, but I just think that it was so special because they were all so different. The amount of coaching I learned having to coach Garrett was significant. Then I learned something different from Chris. He's homesick. And then, Jackson, we're going through COVID, which was wild. And so Jackson really didn't play a lot as a freshman. And then, by year 2, you're like, oh, yeah, certified. We already knew in that spring ball. And then, unfortunately, Jameson, went somewhere else to go maximize that. You hate to see that happen, but so happy for him and his family. That was well maximized. And so happy for him. I always will be a fan. And then see a Mecca come from Seattle and Marvin Harrison from Philly, and it just was a definitely special time. And then to go down to IMG and see Carnell Tate, and he had to leave Chicago, and then everyone through the whole process is having family dynamics. So you're building these relationships with guys, and then to go back down and recruit Brandon Ennis and Jeremiah Smith out of South Florida, where I spent so much time. And then to see what they're doing now in the NFL, right, guys? I mean, that's the biggest piece of it all. Like, it all sounds good, and it's all these ratings are all good, but like, how do they enter, and then how do they leave?
Yes,
and there's no better place than Ohio State to do that. And so, just been a special run, and I expect them to maintain that. They better, or might have to send somebody there to get it back right again. So,
but every one of those guys improved, in my opinion, dramatically in the relationship of being at Ohio State, being under your tutelage, et cetera. And at the same time, you were learning to be a coach during that time, except what's real is real, right? I mean, do you feel at this moment that putting your real self out there is really what has gotten you to this point? I mean, I don't even know if you follow what I'm saying there, but I mean,
yeah, I mean, I never really
you can't
had
be
like
faking it, you know?
I never really had a narrative. I just try to keep it real with these guys, and I just want to make sure that was authentic. I think they know that when I was getting to know them in recruiting, I was the exact same person when they showed up, and so I think that's really important. But no, I mean, it was an awesome little deal there. I mean, but I mean, it wasn't just me. It was the quarterback play and Coach Day's offense and Coach Maratti's ability to train these guys day in and day out in that weight room. Like, it truly takes a village, you know. So I think it was an awesome mix there. There was definitely some, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think that when things are going really good, you just don't expect it to continue. You really appreciate it. You got to know that a lot of work went in, and then you just try to you know, keep it going. But like, it doesn't just happen. Like, it doesn't just happen. It takes a lot of work day in and day out. And I know you guys know that. I know coaches know that. But it was very, very special, and those relationships hold dear to my heart. I stay in touch with these guys as much as I possibly can too, which has been awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a little hard right now when they're still at Ohio State to be talking to anybody.
Right.
But no, it's a blessing, guys. It honestly was.
But dude, when Chris Henry hesitated on signing day, when all the news was coming down about you and stuff, I mean, that was probably as tough on you as it was on Chris Henry. If you follow,
we had plenty of conversations to make sure that we were going to be, you know, Buckeyes. Same with Jaquaden. There was and frankly, everybody. It was like I wanted to make sure everyone was very clear here. Like, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure this is very clear. Like, it's not just about me, the position coach. It is so much more than that at Ohio State, and I think that, you know, again, to say anything otherwise would be a lie, and I would never be in that space. So I did everything I could to make sure that was very transparent. And Chris and his family are second to none. Yeah. Same with Quay Guilford and his family. So I'm glad they made the right choice.
Well said. Quickie here. Are you going to be tougher on your quarterback coach than the rest of the staff?
No, the receiver coach has no shot.
Oh, yeah, there you go. But your brother is the QB coach.
No, I know. Yeah,
Mike.
I know, but I don't really see it that way. I think, like, he was there. He got an opportunity here because he did a great job of where he's been.
Right.
And understanding of, you know, being at Ohio State with Coach Meyer. He understands the expectation level. He understands how we operate, getting caught up on the football side of things. But it's more about the mental makeup of everybody, the players and the coaches, than it is necessarily X's and O's. That's fine. We'll get that done. But the receiver coach, oh my gosh, I do. I really appreciate Coach White, Miles White. I think he's doing a great job. But it might be like being Coach Day's quarterback coach. Like, it's
right.
Good luck.
Hey, last thing. I know you got to go, Brian.
Yeah, you're good.
When you get your brother involved, though, and stuff, I mean, no matter where you go, you know, Urban was big on this. I think Ryan was big on this too. I mean, you got to have somebody you know you can lean on, who's literally, but more than that, telling you the truth to your face, right? I mean, I don't know if y'all have that relationship, but you understand what I'm saying. I mean, you're a first-time head coach. There are going to be so many new things you're going to run into that you've already run into and stuff. But how important is it to make sure somebody understands? I want you to tell me straight. If you know, pull no punches. I mean, you know what I mean? How important is it to surround yourself with those because you've always been that guy who would say exactly what was on your mind. I don't mean go crazy, but how important is it to find those guys, I guess? Yeah,
it's important. I think that I have a couple guys that definitely will do that. I know AT will, which is a big part of it too. I'll do it with him. He'll do it with me. That's really important. Offensively, you know, I think I feel good about it too. I have some guys that you know, will call what it is or stand up for what they believe in. That's really important too.
Yeah.
You know, and so no, I feel confident that way, but it is important. But I feel like we have those guys on our staff.
Yeah. Hey, last thing, and I promise the last thing.
You said that 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I promise I asked you a while ago if you'd ever sat and spun around in your revolving chair there.
Revolving chair.
Yeah.
No, I have not done a spin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I literally in my head almost did it just for you, but I will not do that.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. No, but what I want to ask you is the more you've dived into being a head coach, is there more there than you even expected? If you follow because we watched Ryan Day grow as a head coach from those 3 games. Remember in 2018? Can you remember those 3 games at the beginning of the year to when he stood in for Urban Meyer, but then being named the head coach? And I've watched him grow in the job all the way through. And I think the toughest thing that any new head coach has to learn how to do is tell somebody either you no longer fit in my plans, what you're doing is not good enough. I don't know. I would think ultimately, because you learn how to deal with like media responsibilities and things like that. But I feel like you're equipped to, like I said a while ago, to tell somebody when they're not doing the job, doing the job up to snuff and stuff. But have you girded yourself for those kind of moments, if you follow my drift?
Yeah, I think that, it's always easy to have, fun and lighthearted and congratulational conversations.
Right.
But no, I mean, I think that I never have shied away from the hard conversations. That's the opportunity of growth. But I think you don't ever enter a hard conversation without a plan to exit. Like, so even though you have that conversation, like there still should be a plan to move forward. Like, what is that? And frankly, if we're splitting ways, then be very clear with that. If not, then let's make sure we identify where we go from here and how we enhance, right? And so what are we trying to get done? I think that, for me, and I just looking at myself, I think that, there's probably been the things that the head coaches probably have to deal with have only gone up with the years. And frankly, when I had this first opportunity, I mean, I had to hire more than 45 people that were off the field. I mean, I was hiring like a new equipment staff. I was hiring like recruiting offices. Like literally the entire building, guys. Like when you say we brought in, 41 transfers. Yes. And that was one process. But I was also responsible for hiring probably I don't have my sheet, but close to 45 individuals for different jobs, player development, 3 equipment staff guys. We were able to retain Phil, hopefully with video. Thank God, because they were trying to, pull him. So like the whole entire coaching staff, right? Those 11, 12 guys, all of the support staff hires essentially. So there was a lot that went into, from January 1 or even through December up until this point right now, and I don't think probably every head coach has to deal with that. Sometimes, you're just kind of, being in a spot where you're looking to enhance what's currently there. This was a complete, not necessarily an overhaul, but a complete enhancement in all facets. So being involved in trying to help making sure the right academic people are hired and every division, frankly, guys. So that was a heck of an experience. And then ultimately being responsible for the culture. And now we're installing offense and defense. So to say that it's not the ground floor, of course not, but it is. There's a lot that is being done right now. And frankly, like one guy, one head coach told me, if it's important enough, it will get done. So just keep getting things done. You'll look up and you'll be in a good spot. Again, we have great staff here that's assisting with everything, both from a support staff standpoint, off the field staff standpoint, and then the football staff itself. So very pleased with it all, but there has been a lot that's gone on in my first 3 months that I probably did not anticipate. For me to anticipate it would have been, probably a lie or like a misunderstanding of what really is coming. But it's been great. It's been great, and I've got great people.
Is what Indiana's done, is it put pressure on every other program that, hey, dude, Indiana was the losingest program in major college football history until the last 2 seasons. Has that put pressure on every program? Do you even feel the Signetti effect? You understand what I'm saying? If they can,
I don't feel the pressure as I do just like the opportunity. Like, come on,
there you go.
In my mind, like if they can do it, anybody can do it. But I mean, the reality of it is that's probably not the case. But the point is, they did. Like, and I'm excited for the opportunity of new college football and really to build this thing into what we feel like we can build it into. And so I'm sure I'm not the only head coach that feels that way.
Yeah.
But frankly, like once I ever see one person do it, I think I can do it too. Whether I can or not, well, I'm not 6'8" and can't windmill, but like he did it, I think I can do it. So I'm going to try to figure out a way to do it.
Dude, that look on his face is when I asked him this question one time. I said, football players are different. I said, they're the kind of guy that at 5 years old, you look up and they're on the high board and they're jumping off, and he laughed about it. And he agreed with it. But you got to have that. You got to have that approach.
I can do it. You can do it. I can do it. I can probably do it better too. So I'm going to figure it out.
All right. Well, you done, Clay? I mean, you want more question?
No, I'm good. I just want to wish Vrabes Jr. the best in 26, 27 and on, because your AD says this is a destination, not a pit stop.
And I want to say this. I'm not calling you Vrabes Jr. because I think you are quite a unique individual. I told you that when you first got the assistant job at Ohio State, back when you were – I just thought you could go places, man.
I think you told me I was a coach, too, and I was like, I'm not coaching.
No, I know. You were out there having a good time, and then all of a sudden you can't help yourself to correct people, right, and or help people. And that's
trying to help.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Brian Hartline, head coach, University of South Florida, former Ohio State legend. We'll see how it goes at South Florida. Brian, thank you very much for joining the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall, my man.
Appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for reaching out.
Shh. By the way, Clay has left the room. I wanted to let you folks in on a real bargain out there in the world of simulator golf. The Back Nine Golf, which is located at 2820 Fishinger Road in Upper Arlington, has a hell of a holiday box available to you right now. The value is nearly $300, but your price is $150 if you jump online. That's almost 50% off if you jump online at Columbus at theback9golf.com. That's their email address. Their website is theback9golf.com/Columbus upper Arlington OH/. That's a long address, but just write it down a couple times watching it. And you can also call them at 614-362-7888. Parentheses PUTT. PUTT. But the bottom line is one of the new ultra modern simulators that you can find in the greater Columbus area, and it's really right there in the middle of Upper Arlington. I know Tito Thidoff and I hopped in there the other day. I think it was 16 degrees outside. There was snow and ice everywhere, and we played Pebble Beach, and we did it in less than an hour. So it's one of the great bargains going out there, and with this holiday box, you get 1 month of Birdie membership. You get Back Nine branded golf balls. You get cozy Back Nine beanie, and you get premium Back Nine towel. So that's a hell of a deal because basically it's unlimited golf. It's 24/7. You get a code to get you in the door, and then you can go from there. And it's definitely fun. It's the premises are pristine. I know we had a great time. We even played closest to the hole, a few shots on number 7, famed number 7 short par 3 at Pebble Beach the other day, and had a great time doing it. So if you're looking for that last minute gift for a golfer that you love, or yourself that you love, that you're a golfer, nothing wrong with giving yourself a gift at this time of the year. That's the Back Nine Golf holiday box, and it's only a limited time, and as you can imagine, there are only a few available. Quantities are tight, so check in at theback9golf.com.